Someone had asked a couple of questions and I wanted to comment about them regarding tomorrow's test. The first one was whether or not there would be any word problems on the test. And and I have to say without a doubt, of course there will be, both from chapters 2 and from chapter 4. There's no way we can get around it. We do math so that we can solve problems. Now, it is true that word problems are most difficult because somebody writes them in a language that they feel comfortable writing in, and someone else may or may not feel comfortable reading and understanding what that person is trying to convey to the reader. But we still have to do our best. I would expect about approximately 2 word problems for every 10 to 15 standard type of problems. So it's not something that's going to break anybody, but you still should practice setting up word problems. Second, well, the second question was regarding the difference between the substitution and the addition method, and a specific example was stated, which was the two equations 5x plus y is equal to negative 8 and 3x minus y is equal to negative 8. Now it just so turns out that this particular example could be fairly easily solved using either method, either the substitution method or the addition method. When is substitution going to work? Well, the substitution method is good when one of the variables has a coefficient of 1. That means the number that's in front of the x or the y is a 1. Now, often you won't see the 1 there, but if you see the variable by itself, we assume that it's multiplied by 1. So in this case, both the first equation and the second equation has the y that has a coefficient of 1. So what you would do in that case is solve for y. So if 5x plus y is equal to negative 8, then subtracting 5x from both sides, we get y is equal to negative 5x minus 8. And then what you would do is you would take that value, that other name for y, and substitute that for y in the second equation. Obviously, it has to be in the other equation or it's going to lead you nowhere. We get 8x plus 8 is equal to negative 8. Again, I scroll up a little bit, and I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I get 8x is equal to negative 16. When I divide both sides by 8, I get x is equal to negative 2. Once I know that, I go back to either equation, and I substitute negative 2 for x, and I get negative 10 plus y is equal to negative 8. If I want to isolate the y, I'm going to add 10 to both sides, and I get y is equal to 2. You should verify that when you plug negative 2, x equals negative 2, y equals 2 into either equation, you get a true statement. So that's the substitution method. The addition method would do this. And the addition method is easy to use when you have, especially you have two variables that have the same coefficient, such as positive y and negative y. They both have a coefficient of 1, and even better when they both have alternating signs or opposite signs. Then all we're going to do is add the two equations down. So we'd get 8x, and the plus and minus y zero out. And we ended up with 8x equals negative 16, or x is equal to negative 2. But you can see how much quicker that was than doing that whole substitution method. And at this point I would still plug negative 2 into either equation and come up with y equals 2. So that's the power of the addition method. When you have two numbers that have the same coefficient and ideally opposite signs, we just add down.